Good morning. I'm Michael Kovnat, and this is the Next Big Idea Daily, the podcast that helps you think smarter about your time, your work, and, yes, your money. Today, data-driven finance writer Nick Maggiulli is here to flip your whole concept of wealth on its head. In his new book, The Wealth Ladder, Nick argues that building financial freedom isn't about budgeting harder or dreaming bigger. It's about recognizing where you are on the wealth spectrum and then following the right strategy for that level. Whether you've got $10 in the bank or 10 million, Nick has a plan for helping you climb to the next rung. Here he is.
Hi, I'm Nick Maggiulli, and I'm the author of The Wealth Ladder, Proven Strategies for Every Step of Your Financial Life. If I gave you $100, would that change your life? How about 100,000? What about 100 million? Your answer will depend upon a variety of factors, but most importantly, how much money you have today. For most people, $100 million would fundamentally transform their lifestyle. But for someone like Jeff Bezos, $100 million wouldn't even register. This simple observation has profound implications for understanding wealth and how our view of it can change as we acquire more of it. For the record, when I say wealth, I'm referring to your net worth, or your assets minus your liabilities. That's everything you own, like property, financial assets, and cash, minus everything you owe, such as your mortgage, student loans, or credit card debt. The problem is we've been looking at wealth in the wrong way. We've assumed that more wealth is better and that it can solve all of our problems. We've also assumed that more wealth means more personal consumption. Unfortunately, this is only true in the extremes. The person with $100,000 can afford a lifestyle that is quite different from the person with only $1,000. However, the person with $500,000 lives nearly identically to the person with $400,000. Though these two people are separated by $100,000, they likely shop at similar stores, drive similar cars, and live in similar homes. In this sense, our enjoyment of wealth isn't something that goes up with every additional dollar or $1,000 we get, but something that increases in steps. From this perspective, wealth isn't a straight line. It's a ladder, and each rung of this ladder corresponds with a wealth level that will impact nearly every facet of your financial life, from how you spend money to how you earn it and how you invest it. Each level of the wealth ladder is unique. What are these wealth levels? Level 1, less than $10,000. Level 2, $10,000 to $100,000. Level 3, $100,000 to $1 million. Level 4, $1 million to $10 million. Level 5, $10 million to $100 million. And Level 6, over $100 million. These levels are separated by a factor of 10 because this corresponds with the increase in wealth needed to create a large lifestyle change. We can also imagine how your financial strategy might change as you move up the wealth ladder. For example, the strategy to get you from level 1 to level 2 will be fundamentally different from the strategy to get you from level 5 to level 6. While budgeting can be useful for someone in level 1 of the wealth ladder, it likely won't make a difference for someone in level 6. Similarly, starting and scaling a business could help someone in level 6 build more wealth, but probably isn't the right strategy for someone in level 1. Just like a fitness coach would provide different diet and exercise advice to an obese person than to a well-trained athlete, the wealth ladder will provide different financial advice based on where you are on your financial journey. In this way, the wealth ladder is a grand unifying framework that will fundamentally change how you think about wealth and how to build it. Once you've grasped the concept of the wealth ladder, it will be difficult to look at your finances the same way again. As the saying goes, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Your shift in thinking will influence how you choose a career, how you take risks, and ultimately how you live your life. You'll see that the difference between those who build wealth and those who don't isn't necessarily how hard they work. Rather, it's what strategies they follow and where they focus their time and energy. Thankfully, you won't need to guess about where to focus yours. The Wealth Ladder already has the answer. Let's dive into 4 big ideas from the Wealth Ladder. The first idea is called the 0.01% rule. The 0.01% rule says you should spend based on your wealth, not your income. Income fluctuates, wealth is steadier, and spending from it lets your lifestyle grow gradually without risking what you've built. Here's how it works. The 0.01% rule is simple. Take your net worth, multiply it by 0.01% or divide by 10,000, and that's your daily spending allowance on top of your income. So if you have $100,000 in wealth, you could spend an extra $10 per day. If you have $1 million in wealth, you can spend an extra $100 per day, and so forth. On the Wealth Ladder, this means that every wealth level corresponds to a category of spending freedom. For example, in level 2, $10,000 to $100,000 in wealth, you would start to have grocery freedom, meaning you can buy what you want at the grocery store. This is exactly what the 0.01% rule allows. The difference in price between eggs and cage-free eggs, for example, will only be a few dollars. This difference is roughly the amount of extra spending freedom you get in level 2, according to the 0.01% rule. And this continues up the wealth ladder. In level 3, $100,000 to $1 million in wealth, you start to have restaurant freedom. You can buy what you want at restaurants. And in level 4, $1 million to $10 million in wealth, you start to get travel freedom. You can travel how and where you want. Of course, I don't recommend using the 0.01% rule to spend all of your income and what your wealth generates. However, if you're saving money and building wealth over time, the 0.01% rule can allow you to enjoy more of your money without going overboard. The importance of income-producing assets. Do you know what separates those in levels 1 to 3 from those in levels 4 to 6 on the wealth ladder in terms of their investments? Income-producing assets. I'm talking about things like stocks, bonds, real estate, private businesses, and more. These are assets that generate income that make their owners richer. On average, households in levels 1 to 3 of the wealth ladder have less than 25% of their wealth in income-producing assets. However, households in levels 4 to 6 have more than 50% of their wealth in income-producing assets. This is the biggest differentiator in terms of how households allocate their assets across the wealth ladder. As a result of this, households higher on the wealth ladder tend to have higher incomes than those lower on the wealth ladder. While some of this difference is due to having a higher paying job, some is also related to the assets these households own. While having more income-producing assets in your portfolio isn't guaranteed to make you rich, it's not a bad place to start. How to choose a career, or the golden intersection. When it comes to choosing a career, I like to use what I call the golden intersection. That is the combination of what you're good at, what you're interested in, and what people will pay you for. If you can find a vocation that has all 3 of these qualities, then you've hit the jackpot. Of course, you may not find this right away, so where should you focus in the meantime? I recommend doing something that you're good at and that people will pay you for. After all, you have to make money to survive. And if you work on something you're good at, you may find yourself growing interested in it too. If not from the work itself, then from the praise you get along the way. This is how I got into writing. I was okay at it initially, but the praise I received from some of my work encouraged me to keep doing it. And today I enjoy writing more than I ever thought possible. So when it comes to choosing a career, find ways to work toward the golden intersection. You may not be able to do it in level 1 of the wealth ladder, but as you gain more financial security, you can start to take more risks and find the career that is right for you. The wealth amplification effect. The wealth amplification effect is the idea that all the non-financial parts of your life become more amplified as you climb the wealth ladder. The reasoning is quite simple. If you're in level 1 or level 2, most of your problems in life are likely money problems. They could be solved by having more money. However, as you climb the wealth ladder, money becomes less and less useful for solving your problems. You can't write your kids a check to make them love you. You can't buy a new cardiovascular system after years of neglecting your health. Because of this, you should spend even more time focusing on the non-financial aspects of your life as you build wealth. This is easy to overlook and forget because money is measurable, while the many other types of wealth in our life are not. So if you do climb the wealth ladder, don't forget why you started climbing in the first place.
Thank you, Nick. Okay, everyone, you can get a copy of The Wealth Ladder at your favorite bookstore or by using the link in the episode notes. And go to nextbigideaclub.com to find out about our hardback subscription club. That's where we send you the best new nonfiction books as selected by our curators, Malcolm Gladwell, Adam Grant, Dan Pink, and Susan Cain. Check it out at nextbigideaclub.com. I'm Michael Kovnat. See you tomorrow.